Take a seat.
I grew up in Appalachia in West Virginia in the U.S., which is a very primitive, very rural state. It's very poor. Everybody's very private. And growing up, and I don't know if you were told this as a child, but growing up, I was taught, don't ask for anything. It's not polite to ask. Like if you went to somebody's house, and they said to you, oh, can I fix you something to eat? You're supposed to say, no, thank you. And then if they ask you a second time, no, really, let me fix you something. No, don't bother. Don't go to, If they ask you 3 times, you get to say yes. That was the rule. Because the first time really means, welcome to my home. The second, that's what that means. Sort of like, did you have breakfast? It really means something else. And the second time means, I'm glad you're here. And the third time means we really do have enough food to share. Because in West Virginia, a lot of people, we were all poor. We didn't have money and we didn't have enough food, but it's impolite to not offer. So sometimes these early habits carry into adulthood, and it's hard for you to ask. And women especially have difficulty in asking because, remember, what women do is they pay attention to all the little cues. So women really do sort of read each other's minds. If a woman walks in a room, she'll say, now, is she coming back? I see she left her purse. Is she coming back? Are y'all warm enough in here? Does it feel hot? Does it feel a little warm? Did you have enough to eat? This is what women do. They notice all the details, and they remember the details. And they think men's brains work the same way. But they don't. Remember, men tend to do one thing at a time. And they do it very well. And every time I show that slide and I talk about the nothing box and how men have a box that women don't have and it has nothing in it, I always get a good laugh. But think about it, women, how many times we have to take classes, pay money to learn to meditate and clear our mind. That is a higher state of being. And men sit around in that state all the time. So we could learn something from them. But the point is that when you're working, when you have 2 of you together, you don't really read each other's minds. And so she was sort of expecting him to read her mind, but she had difficulty even articulating. And also, one of the reasons why she had difficulty, because remember what she said, I like surprises. Well, if I tell you, then it won't be a surprise, So the guy was caught in the box, like if you tell me, and if I did it, then you'd say, well, it's not a surprise. So you could see where, and this is a couple that really love each other. By the way, I just wanted to make a case because this particular tape was the last tape in a series that we did, and we did one a month for 8 months. And this couple came to every series, every one, and these seminars went for 3 days. We filmed it over 3 different days. And so they really took these courses, and I wish you could have seen this couple when they first came to the courses. I mean, the courses helped their relationship so much. And that's why, whether it's matchmaking or whether it's classes or whether it's, organizations and teaching facilities now, it's much, much more acceptable to learn how to be in a relationship and let someone help you find a suitable mate. Times have changed, and because there's so much pressure on relationships, you want to do it and you want to do it well. Okay, so if you look at the tape and you see that there's a difference between men and women. And so now I want to come up, let's look at this next slide. and it's dating versus mating. It's really important to know the difference. And a bottom line piece of advice is date before you mate. You know, do you want to meet different people? You want to join different groups? You want to understand what you're like, what the other person's like. Again, it's like finding out what's on the menu, because there are too many people that start dating after they're married. It's not a good idea. I don't recommend it to date somebody else after you're married. So you want to date before you mate, before you choose a mate. And this helps you choose a better mate. So I'm going to ask you to do this. And this is going to take some standing up and moving around. And don't you love it? I love the groans. Yeah, I love the groans. And this is going to take not as much courage as the January, February, March exercise, although y'all did that very well. I was very impressed. I love these women that just came up and took the microphone and started announcing. Yeah, you guys have your work cut out for you. But anyway, I want you to get in groups of about 4 or 5, but there has to be one man in every group. At least one man in every group. So guys, you've got to spread yourselves out. Okay, and here's what I want you to do. You have to come up with, and the women and the men have to agree on what would be a perfect date. So if the women come up with it, and the guy says, no, I wouldn't like that, you got to try something different. So you have to come up with an idea, and this would be, let's say it's not your first date. Let's say you've been dating for 3 or 4 months, but you want this date to be sort of special. What would be a special date? You've got 10 minutes. You've got to stand up, 4 or 5 people in a group. Every group has to have one man. So stand up, move around, get your group, come up with one good, perfect date.
The best date would be a date as intellect course. Intellect course meaning the two minds connect. Everything just goes from there.
Ambience is very important, and most of the restaurants in Singapore is very bright, so I think dim lighting is very important. And please take note. Dim restaurant and a nice dinner cuisine. It doesn't need to be expensive, but please don't bring us to Chinese restaurants. And the fourth one is not noisy, but maybe some soft music can help both person because it gives us courage. And fifth one is a small little quaint restaurant, not big ones. And the restaurant ideally would be when couples go to see singles or married couples, but 2 people kind of in the table, but not with children and annoying ladies crying, that is not ideal. And guys, please pay for the dinner and not ask for the ladies can and then the 7th one is a good humor can really lighten the conversation. It gets very tense, and then it's very important to hold an intelligent conversation. And if CD wants, that woman get very put off. And most importantly, we need to be very humble, because women are usually we catch on that very easily. And the 9th one, and the most important, must do. Feed the lady home safely. Don't send her to the camp. See her to the MRT station. And like one of my girlfriends said, and some guy said, Singapore is so small, you can get home safely by yourself.
Just a follow-up from the lady. Actually, I was talking to some of the ladies over here. I think one of the best things to do is the guys can cook. I think cooking could have solved most of the worry. In a nice, cozy house. eat nice food, and I believe there will be some soft music, and not noisy, no kids, and maybe no pets also. And after everything, you can just sit down, relax, and talk about things, and probably send a lady home. So that I think will be perfect.
That's good. If you want to improve a relationship, here is a scientific fact. It's easier to add positives than eliminate negatives. If you have a relationship you're in right now, whether it's a friendship or a family relationship or a work relationship, it's easier to improve that relationship by doing something positive together than necessarily trying to solve a problem or talk it out. Because talking can make things worse, not always. But if you want to improve a relationship, do something enjoyable together. Now, every one of the activities that you mentioned had some commonalities. And these commonalities are just happen to be the characteristics of a soulmate. Because every person practically that interviewed me asked me about the soulmate. That the soulmate does it exist? If so, what constitutes a soulmate? Do you only have one soulmate? So let's just do this for a moment. If you don't mind, just chatting, and this won't be long, it'll be just for a minute or two. Do you think the soulmate exists? And is there only one? Those are the two questions. Is there such a thing as a soulmate? And is there only one per person?
Take a seat.